Hello. I hope I'm audible. Feel free to ask anything, or I hope you can hear me. If not, please let me know. What is the meaning of life? Oh boy, that's a very deep question to start with. I would ask, who wants to know? Who's the one that wants to know the meaning of life? If you can tell me that, then I can tell you about life. Okay, Gaurav says, okay, Kami saying can't hear you. Hold on, just let me try to fix this. Oh, okay. Okay, so I hope you can hear me. All right, Gaurav saying, um, Namaste. Osho said by meditation, I mean silence awareness and witnessing. But my confusion is when to do witnessing and when should I remain in awareness? Please guide. You cannot do witnessing. Witnessing happens. Witnessing is unconditioned observation, direct perception, which means there is no you who can analyze the witness. You cannot modify the witness. In fact, you appear as an object in the light of witnessing. So you have no control over when to be in the witness mode, when to be in the witness mode. So when the witnessing happens, just embrace it. That's all you can do. Just be it. Bastian says, yes, I can hear you. Good. Good to see you, Bastian. Hi, Vibe says, glad to be here. Jagjot, I just want to thank you for everything you share with us. Thank you for, thank you for your presence too. I really appreciate all of your presence too. Okay, Kami says it's okay now. So, okay, I'm glad that things are audible. So Gaurav says, can being alert and witnessing go together? Well, you see, it is through witnessing that alertness is observed, because you know that alertness is happening. So witnessing is like a precondition for alertness. So witness is the first light that shines. Witness is the unconditioned awareness. You see? So for conditioned to arise, the unconditioned has to be there first. Because witness can stand by itself, but any other function like focus, like concentration, alertness, cannot stand without witnessing awareness. So when witnessing narrows itself into focused awareness, that is what you call as alertness. So just a short note that we are also collecting funds on for basically providing water and some food to men and women who are working outside in the afternoon heat. So those of you who can contribute, those of you who can, please feel free to. All your proceeds will go to basically providing them some essential supplies. Okay, Kami says, recounting footprint story, you get emotional. What exactly triggers death of a loved one, rejection of a relationship, financial problems, or what made your dark night soul painful? Well, I'm just an emotional person. My nature is emotional, so I get emotional. I can get emotional at anything. Just the other day I had tears in my eyes, uh, watching a child on the road. uh, you know they sometimes you see beggars on the Indian road, and these are small children, small, basically girl child who are doing acrobats to get some money. So I just an emotion, that's it. But I'm not analyzing it, because I have gone down that path, death of a loved one, rejection, and all these forces. The dark night of the soul is painful till there is a me structured around it, because dark night of this the pain of the dark night of the soul is basically rooted in time. And time is again, time is basically an inference born out of thought, which means it is tied to me. So this is something you need to investigate, how time and me are related. And I have often spoken about this in my other videos. And I said, what do you find? What is the commonality that you find between time and me? When there is me, there is time. But is there time when there is no me? For example, deep sleep. There is no time. There is no me in deep sleep. Is there time in deep sleep? That is why deep sleep is so peaceful. Dark Night of the Soul. I recorded a podcast today with a friend, and it will be released tomorrow. It's quite a long conversation, most probably over 1.5 hours. And it touches upon all of these subjects: dark night of the soul, spiritual awakening, ego death. What do these things mean? And also I go into depth of what is spiritual awakening. What do I mean by that? What exactly is the dark night of the soul? That too. Okay, Gaurav says, please tell us about sacred intelligent of all reality. Well, I can tell you about it because I have been speaking about it through and through. it's it is the beingness, it is the awareness, it is that which remains untouched. but at the same time provides existence to all and everything. It is pristine, it is love, it is the compassionate heart. I mean, you can call it any name. You can call it Brahman, Chaitanyam, Satyam. You can call it Parabrahman. It doesn't matter what name you give it, it just is. And its isness is its completeness. Okay, does immense suffering brings awakening instantly, as Sadhguru and Osho says? Yes, suffering does bring awakening. I mean, this is what I've seen, that without suffering, we don't wake up. And I think even Buddha stressed on this, that suffering is required in life in order for the person to understand what's going on, what really is going on. Before that, we just run through our unconscious patterns, and we live in a constant loop of reactivity and indulgences. But then we realize that no, there is more to life. So yes, suffering does bring a awakening. I would say that. Okay. Late Jane Goodall, the wildlife enthusiast, once said that she experienced that there were no boundaries between her and the jungle, and the soil and the chimpanzees. What exactly is that experience? Now, you see, I can describe that experience to you, but that experience has to be felt through your own heart. So you have to look into your own heart to know what that means. It doesn't, she's not talking about physical boundaries. I mean, of course, in appearances, there are boundaries. For example, there is a boundary between you and me. But you see, there is a spaciousness which connects us all, which is the substratum. And she's talking about that which connects everything, that which makes everything, that which illuminates everything, that which provides existence to everything. You see? So that is the light of consciousness which she's talking about. Bastian, okay, since we last spoke, I have learned about expansion and contraction, the concept of spanda. Okay, this is now getting into the territory of uh, ah, okay, I even forgot the name, tantra. So we are now getting into the territory of tantra. So my knowledge of tantra is actually very less, but still, my awareness now catches the self being contradicted often. This in turn allows me to go into expansion. Yes, so there is noticing. The expansion is just happening through observation, not through any kind of modification. That's the main part. So um, when one goes through this phase of expansion and contraction, eventually the awareness comes to a point where it sees that even this contraction, seemingly the the appearance of contraction is happening in consciousness. So the focus just turns, not, I wouldn't say focus, the awareness just shifts back to its basic natural state. And that is what the awareness teachers are talking about. So I don't know the concept of spanda, but this is just my interpretation. Okay, Kami says, when Ramesh first met Maharaj, Maharaj said, finally you've come. How did you know? Was it deja vu moment, or was he psychic or something? What was it in your opinion? Buddy, I don't know. Maybe Maharaj would have only clarified that. But I think it could be that, you know, he saw Ramesh as ready to spread the message. But again, my assumption, so I don't really know. High vibe. Sometimes in the morning, just when I wake up, I'm in this place of forgetting who I am. It feels really good, but then a part of my mind gets into fear that I might have an appointment. But then a part of my mind gets into fear that I might have an appointment. Appointment with who? Are you about to work? Well, okay. So, okay, might okay. There's a continuation to it. My Okay, I'll read it again. Sometimes in the morning, just when I wake up, I am in this place of forgetting who I am. It feels really good, but then a part of my mind gets into fear that I might have an appointment. Need to focus on today, so I put effort into my remembering so that I can take care of my responsibilities. But I want to learn, how can I stay in this place of for longer. Now, of course, we all have to take care of our responsibilities. We have to make a living. We have to do our work, and all of that is important too. I would say when you get up, I can just give you a simple practice. Now, I generally don't prescribe practices, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I contradict myself too. So I can give you some practices. Any human being who gets up with an attitude of gratitude for life, thanking whoever, whatever is around for being there, even if you don't like the thing, place, person, just express gratitude. And initially, what will happen is you may not do it from the heart. You may feel reluctant, but still just do it. Still express gratitude for breath, for life, for this morning sun, for beauty, for radiance, for peace, for love, for all that the nature has provided you, for this beautiful cover, the embrace of the sky. All that has been provided to you. Express gratitude, and you will eventually come to that spaciousness of heart, which even when you experience it for a few seconds will last entire day. And then you won't be worried about what responsibilities you have throughout the day, because that presence will remain with you for the rest of the day. So start your day with gratitude and see how it works. So he further says, all of this happens in a few seconds, but I want to release the fear that I screw up and forget something I have to do. Just don't worry about the fear. Let the fear be there and watch the fear. And again, as I say, when you express gratitude for what you have, the fear will become small. The fear will not have. You see, gratitude is a function of the heart. Fear is a function of the mind. So heart is much more powerful. When you express gratitude, there is no place for fear in the mind. And eventually the mind melts into the heart. So you won't have to worry about the fear when you have gratitude. When you have some when you have a wider vision, you don't care about small details. So try that and see how it works. Okay, Kami, you said that you locked yourself away for 4 years. Why? Well, not 4.5 years. So well, I didn't lock myself as such. I mean, I still interacted a little with people. And I mean, in India, it's hard to lock yourself. I don't know if any of you have tried it. Well, it didn't work for me. But yes, I was isolated for the most part. And it was just happening. There was some self contemplation, some energy that needed to be expended at that time. So it just happened. I didn't plan it. I just went to my terrace in my room, and I thought that I'll just spend like a week there, and turned out to be 4.5 years. But I didn't lock myself. I would go down and I would eat my meals down, and I would sometimes, I would spend time with my children too. And some of the things I couldn't avoid, so I had to do. But yes, most of my time was spent there in that room, and a lot of contemplation happened. It was just happening. I didn't plan anything as such. Okay, Gaurav, how Saint Francis talked with bird and made a ferocious wolf quiet, and how Jesus Christ's wounds appeared on Saint Francis. And there is Newman. Is it is it possible? Kindly tell us your mystical experience because it increases the thirst for God. Do you feel God near you at this moment? This presence, this awareness for me is God. This consciousness, this quality of being alive, this ability for me to communicate with you, this ability of me to open my heart to you and pure love to you is God. You for me are God because you are consciousness too. So I don't see God as a separate entity, as a separate manifestation, all powerful manifestation, keeping a tab on its creation. I see God as wholeness, as completeness, which is within you, within me. We are all complete. So that is how I see it. So again, if you want to uh, experience what Saint Francis experienced, then you will have to tap into your own inner being, into your heart space. Only when you only when you go beyond your mind, and mind's conditioning can be thick because there can be lots of doubt, but the day you have the courage to go beyond it, and that's why Nisargadatta Maharaj says that spirituality is a matter of earnestness and courage. You will be faced with a lot of emotional energy, which is blocking heart to that, which is blocking the pathway to that spaciousness. So the moment you allow that spaciousness, you just drop resistance. The problem is that you resist. You want to experience mystical energy, but you're afraid also. Now that doesn't go. You have to just dive deep, take the plunge, and allow for everything without fear. Okay, taming the physical mind body is challenging. It is far more stubborn. I'm talking about gluttony, impulse control, discipline, any input. So, why do you want to tame the mind and body? Or rather, who wants to tame the mind? The one that is with the idea of taming the mind is the mind. So, the taming doesn't happen through forced control. And this is something I've seen. If you make that entity stronger, that is trying to control, that is trying to tame, what you're doing is strengthening that separative mind. Because now it says that I am in control. Mind's idea is of control. So it becomes even more stubborn. It becomes even more strong. Now, gluttony, impulse control, discipline, uh, these things are okay to have a balanced approach to food and impulse control, self control. These are all good things. Discipline is also good, but it has to come from a place of understanding, not through not through uh, forced ideas that I must. The moment I must, I will, and force comes into the picture, effort comes into the picture, you're already losing your peace, because then you will be in constant comparison. And as you age, you will notice that you will be subjected to a lot of comparison. You will be compared to other people, you will be compared to your past, and you yourself will go through this whole thing where you will see how your body is failing, and it will fail because The mind will fail, the body will fail. Eventually, it was acquired, it will be lost. So rather than using the word taming, the control actually comes, the power actually comes by relinquishing the control, by relinquishing the power and easing into things. But that is just my opinion. So, you know, you just investigate for yourself, and then don't just take my words. How to be supremely intelligent like Osho? Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm not that intelligent. So I don't know. Well, detachment from bodily desires. Okay, heart of sadhaka. Detachment from bodily desires. Well, you see, who wants to detach? Again, the detachment is an idea of the mind. Just witnessing the mind, watching the minds move, brings about freedom from what it's trying to play. The board. Now, I am a little, uh, you know, my approach is a little unconventional when it comes to desires, the question of desire. I don't believe in suppressing desires. I say go for it. I say suffer. Go for it and suffer and then learn. Because if you just believe when somebody tells you that desires are evil, it's not going to stop you. It's going to create doubt inside you. But when you suffer, now I mean it in a in a gentle way. I don't mean harm to you. What I'm trying to say is, when there is suffering in life through desires, it is then that you truly get to know. It is then that you truly be free. Otherwise, if, for example, if somebody is addicted to sexual activity, sex or porn or masturbation or things of those sort, try telling those people, don't do it because evil. They won't be able to stop. No, they will actually deteriorate. They will actually suffer. They will have extreme anxiety, and when they hit their bottom, it is then that the body will stop. The body will realize, oh my god, this needs to stop now. And that is where the change happens, not through force. I watch I watch the desire just as I watch thought. Okay, okay. If you can watch the desire, then of course you know that it is futile. Gaurav says, kindly tell us about the power of trust. So I assume you mean trust in God or universe. Faith is powerful, and faith is one of the pathways. In fact, the devotional path is one way one can achieve wholeness. Although it is it is a slippery slope. The devotional path, in my opinion, is a very slippery slope, and if it's not combined with the jnana, with the knowledge, one has the tendency to just go lost, just get lost in the falseness. So trust is, but again, I say that then suffering happens, and when suffering happens, then learning happens. So Buddha said that don't be afraid to suffer. If you want to suffer, suffer like Buddha. Buddha suffers totally. We suffer partially because we suffer and we don't accept our suffering. We want to avoid suffering, so we don't suffer totally. But Buddha suffers totally. That is why the symbolism of the lotus and the mud, they are one unit. So when it is when that duality is accepted, that lotus is going to come with the mud, that is when there is true insight, true awakening. Heart of Sadhaka. Thank you, Sadhaka. I have put on mic, but I don't know if it's working. But I'm glad that you all can hear me, so it's all good. Okay, Bastian says, I have just started reading I Am That by Nisargadatta Maharaj. Thank you so much for introducing me to it. You're most welcome. It's a profound book and it contains so many beautiful pointers. The first time I read it, I was like, this is it. This is it. So much wisdom in so little words. That's the beauty of that book. Okay, Gaurav says, Jagannath temple is very magic. It is very magical. Could you explain how? The true magic is in your light of consciousness. It is the light of consciousness which makes a place magical. Even your own room can become magical if you really see it with all beauty and radiance. If you see God in everything, everything becomes magical. So the thing is, temples have a very positive energy, and it is easy to see God in temples, and are places of worship. But if you start seeing God in everything, now God, I'm not talking about the God that is separate. I'm talking about God as the animating consciousness in everything. Then everything becomes magical. Even this life becomes magical. And when life becomes magical, there's singing, there's dancing, there's art, there's living, there's humor, there's celebration. Excuse me. Today I did a podcast for 2 hours before the conversation. So excuse me for a moment. Okay, Osho says whatever happens is always just and right. Do you agree? Well, it is always from the perspective of a separate self that we judge an event as just, unjust, right, and wrong. What probably Osho meant was that whatever is happening according to laws that our limited minds cannot make sense of. So we may see injustice, whereas God's justice may be total. For example, we may see an innocent person being convicted of a crime he or she never committed. Now, in that moment, in that snapshot moment of life, it may appear to us that, oh, this is injustice. The real perpetrator was not caught and a wrong person was punished. But according to the universe's account, that person at that time was meant for that. So they received that. Now, again, it does not mean to not show compassion. You can still have your belief and you can still, you know, fight for injustice. But know that you truly cannot know what is justice, what is injustice. Just go according to whatever your knowledge says, whatever your mind says, tells you, and do your best. But when you see that the totality is much bigger than the limited mind, you don't unnecessarily force things that are based on your perception. So you just accept that, okay, things are a certain way, and that makes life much more livable and much more peaceful. Okay, Smriti says, when I feel disconnected or spiritually stuck, what is the best way to to a status of return to a state of openness and trust? The best way is just to be here, just to come back. What is your excuse? Where are you putting the resistance? Watch that. So when you are stuck, you are basically abandoning yourself. You are going into the thought realm because that is enticing. So mind is taking you for a ride and you are complying with the mind. So all that needs to be done is to break that loop. Now you may not always be successful, so don't expect perfection out of this. But whenever you remember to just bring yourself back here, here is openness, here is trust. There is no way to do it. You just get back here. That's it. In fact, the one that wants to ask a method or a way is the mind. It's the tricky mind. So turning away is again a diversion. If I say that focus on your breath, do this, do that, you can do all of those things, but those things come later. First comes the awareness. That means bring yourself here and now. After that, you can use breath to integrate your mind body. Then you will start feeling safe. Then you will start feeling open. You will experience an expansion, and trust is a natural outcome of that. So just bring yourself here and be that openness. How to access the power of intuition? By being silent. Let your mind be quiet. The more quietness mind experiences, the more intuition or insight is available. You see, It is the mind that blocks the intuition. The first voice is always the voice of intuition. It is only the mind which superimposes, and mind is all fear based. So by the time mind comes into the picture, it's the intuition is already lost. So when you be here and now, and when you remain in presence, the presence grows, and that presence brings about the intuition, or I like to call it insight. So it is a very natural process. Just be present to here and now. Okay, high vibes. High vibe says when we become more empty of our false self identity, do our dreams change? Do we stop dreaming? Not really. The dreams keep happening because mind has many layers. You know. Your speech is sometimes getting choppy. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's the connection. Maybe it's the connection. Okay. So when we become more empty of our false identity, do our dreams change? Do we stop dreaming? No, we don't stop dreaming. Neither do our dreams change. But the dreams don't have that much of an effect on us, because we do see that even they are playing out in consciousness. So being empty of our false identity means being consciousness, being the unaffected consciousness. So presence is the natural outcome. So good dreams, bad dreams, dreams related to something missing, those things don't matter anymore, because you are beyond it. Mm. This Sunday we will be having a Zoom session at 8:30. So if you are interested, you can participate in that, and you can find the details in the on the website jagjot.com under events tab, or you can also check the description box of this video and you will find the links. So there is an events page there, or you can also join the WhatsApp group. So there also you will find the information if you're interested. There is no practice other than just bringing yourself here and now. Whenever the mind moves here and there, just bring it back here. And eventually it gets absorbed in the presence. What you find is, even while you're talking or doing chores or attending to different things in life, you don't lose that element of presence for the most part. Okay, Smriti says, how can I distinguish between the voice of my ego and the voice of my deeper intuition when making difficult life decisions? So, this depends on your level of awareness, because the voice of ego has an unease, has an element of restlessness to it, whereas the voice of intuition is so natural, so peaceful. For example, when there is a simple situation, choosing between, let's say, two fruits, let's take an example, apple and mangoes. Okay, so there are times when you just don't even have to think, you just pick one. That is intuition. You just pick one. You don't assess, you don't analyze, you don't think about its taste or anything, you just pick one. That means intuition is impersonal, whereas the ego is always personal. With ego, there will be some sort of a dialogue happening in the mind. Oh, will the apple be good or the mango will be good? Is it hot season? I think mango will be good. Or mango is not fattening, so apple will be good, but apple has more sugar. You see, this is the voice of the ego, where it is analyzing, because it is all doing it from the perspective of me, what is good for me. Just remember that intuition is not your servant. You will just take a decision, and intuition will, based on intuition. Now, after that, the result may not be according to your expectation, but in that moment, you know that you had to take that decision only. You had to go for it. There will be no dialogue around it. Why did I choose this? I shouldn't have done this. Nothing like that. When you make decision based on the ego follows in horizontal time. Why did I make this decision? Did I make the right decision, wrong decision? Now, that said, I would say just make your decision, whether it is from the ego or from the intuition. Because if you're analyzing, you're already out of the intuition, you know. So just make the decision and learn from it. So either there will be suffering when you choose from the ego, that will teach you, or you will just naturally learn to tap into your intuition. So don't be afraid of making the wrong decision, of suffering. Make the wrong. I've made so many wrong decisions. Even now, sometimes I make wrong decisions. But okay, I suffer, I learn. And it actually makes the mind more quieter. Okay, we can just take one more last question. And after that, I think we will conclude our today's talk. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for being here. Osho said that the questions must dissolve, because when the questions dissolve, what dissolves is the questioner. And he said that the answers do not bring any relief, because answers create even more questions. That's why most of the teachers will only point you inwards. The rest is up to you. All right. So I think we'll conclude today's talk. And if there's anything finally and you would like to ask or to say, feel free to. Okay. That's good. All right. Thank you all so much for being here. And I wish you all peace, happiness, and we'll meet again soon. Take care.